Good afternoon, everyone. My name's Amanda Wright. I'm Community Benefits and Social Value Manager for Hub East Central Scotland. Hub East Central Scotland is a public-private partnership organisation set up in 2012, and we deliver community infrastructure across 7 local authorities: Clackmannanshire Council, Perth and Kinross Council, Fife Council, Angus Council, Stirling Council, Falkirk Council and Dundee City Council. We also work with NHS Fife, NHS Tayside and NHS Forth Valley, and we also work with Scottish Fire and Rescue Service, Police Scotland and Scottish Ambulance Service. We currently have 4 live projects: Perth City Hall, 24 million, Riverside Primary School Perth, 18 million, Dunfermline Learning Campus Enabling Works, 10 million, and Cowie Community Hub at 1.6 million. Upcoming projects is Perth High School, commencing 2022 at 62 million, Blairgowrie Recreational Centre, commencing 2022 at 24 million, and Dunfermline Learning Campus Schools project commencing 2022 at 110 million. We also have 2 Fife Health Centres, Lochgelly and Kincardine, commencing 2023 at 15 million. So today I'm going to talk about the importance of local SMEs, micro SMEs and third sector organisations in community wealth building. Community wealth building is a people-centred approach to local economic development, which redirects wealth back into the local economy and places control and benefits into the hands of local people. There are 5 core principles to community wealth building: progressive procurement, fair employment and just labour markets, shared ownership of the local economy, socially just use of land and property, and making financial power work for local places. I'm not going to dwell too much on the definitions, as I want to focus on the importance of local SMEs, MSEs and third sectors in community wealth building. So how do we support our clients? We call them participants at Hub East Central in their community wealth building. Hub East Central approach is that our key focus area is on keeping the pound spend local. During all our tenders, we put a weighting of 20% on community benefits. That ensures that community benefits has a high level of importance on all our projects. We work and select like-minded Tier 1 contractors who focus on delivering meaningful community benefits. Throughout this presentation, you'll hear the word meaningful. It's really important that community benefits are delivered in a wanted and a needed way rather than being unwanted. We also provide meaningful work opportunities and employment opportunities through apprenticeships, traineeships, paid and unpaid work experience placements and actual jobs. We support and deliver curriculum-based educational support to schools, colleges and universities. For example, for the past 3 years, Hub East Central has been funding and supporting the DEC Design, Engineer and Construct programme at Perth High School. Our school curriculum and educational support curriculum has to be based around STEM and STEAM. So your science, your technology, your engineering and your maths, and STEAM, your science, your technology, your engineering, your arts and maths. But today we want to really focus on how we promote opportunities to SMEs and how SMEs are important to community wealth building. At Hub East Central, we have promoted all our project opportunities to local SMEs, micro SMEs and third sector organisations, and we delivered workshops to support work winning and better tender submissions. But we felt we needed to go that a little bit further. So we joined as an associate member in 2021 with Supplier Development Programme. Since then we've been really busy with them, and we have delivered 3 Meet the Buyer contractor events. The first one was in August last year, and that was for Perth and Kinross Council, where we gave out opportunities for the projects North Muirton primary school replacement and for Perth City Hall. That was a virtual event. It was very well attended, and we held another virtual event in November for Fife Council as part of Fife Council Business Week for the Dunfermline Learning Campus Schools project, but also we had the college campus project come along with their Tier 1 contractor, Balfour Beatty. Again, that was very well attended, and we hosted an in-person, a physical Meet the Buyer in April of this year, and that was extremely well attended and well received by the local community. Keep an eye out, because we are looking to host a Meet the Contractors event this summer for Perth and Kinross Council area, and that will be for the Perth High School project and for Blair Gowrie Recreational Centre. Our membership of SDP has increased our engagement with local SMEs. It's so important to support the training and development of local SMEs, MSMEs and third sector organisations to increase their capability, their capacity and support their sustainability. So local businesses are so important to community wealth building, because we need you. We really do need you. We need to work in partnership with our Tier 1s, with local SMEs, because you have the level of expertise in your field of work. You have your ability to hire local employees, your ability to hire local apprentices, and your ability to deliver work placements. You have the ability to sustain local employment and to support local apprenticeship weeks. Your ability to support local community engagement and your ability to share your knowledge and level of expertise with school pupils, college and university students to encourage the next generation into your industry is paramount. And local supply chain reduces carbon footprint, and you know the local community. I am sure that you've had to answer a community benefit question in your tendering. If not, you soon will be, as community benefits and community wealth building gathers more momentum. So how do you answer that question? What are they looking for in your tender response? And how can you score high marks? You're already probably thinking, I don't do community benefits. I don't deliver anything community benefits. But look again at your organisation and what you are doing and have done. You may be able to find something to input a good response in your tender. You have probably done or probably doing something in relation to community benefits, but are not badging it up as community benefits, and therefore not submitting it in your tender as evidence of your ability to deliver community benefits. Here are some examples of community benefits that you probably are doing already. Perhaps you're just doing one, perhaps you're doing a few. Obviously, creating and sustaining local job opportunities. You're doing that yourself because you're creating your own employment and that of your employees and sustaining that employment. You may have an apprentice or a trainee. You're probably buying local supplies for your organisation, and you probably have your logo on a local sports team's kit or their sports top, and that sponsorship is really important to the local community. You may deliver educational engagement to local schools, colleges or universities. Even just attending your own child's school to talk about your career path, to talk about your organisation, to talk about your industry, that's a real positive impact on that young person, because you're introducing them to your industry and to the world of work. You probably donate cash locally to local community groups and charities, or volunteer for local community groups and charities. You may deliver work placements to local schools, universities or colleges, or local long-term unemployed. And you may donate donations in kind, such as excess raw materials, or you may have a collection at work for the local food bank. All these things are community benefits. So if you are doing any of these, then put that in your tender submission. If you're only doing one, put it in. Evidence what you're doing. If you're not doing any of these, consider, can I do at least one or perhaps two to help benefit the local community? It will showcase your ability and capability to help deliver community benefits, which will ultimately support local community wealth building and will increase your tender scores. So as we come towards the end of this presentation, I want to highlight that in collaboration with SDP and our Tier 1s, we want to offer you the opportunity to be part of our exciting projects and offer the support to help sustain and grow your business. I'd like to leave you with a final thought. As we recover from the pandemic and its effects, and the effects of soaring inflation and the war in Ukraine, the delivery of community benefits to support community wealth building will increase in importance. So a company's ability to aid the delivery of community benefits that support community wealth building can be the difference between success and failure in tendering. So thank you for listening to my presentation. Please look out on Hubby Central's website, SDP's website and Perth and Ross Council's website for the upcoming Meet the Contractor event. And I'd now like to invite you to meet our panel of experts who will be able to answer any questions that you may have. I am now going to introduce my panel of experts who have joined me this afternoon to help answer any questions you may have. If you have a question, please submit it using the live Q&A on the right-hand side of your screen. And please remember, if you have a direct question for our panellists, please identify who your question is for. So today our panel is made up from Patricia Murphy, Procurement Manager, BAM Construction, Shona Dunsmore, Business Development and Work Winning Director, Robertson's Facilities Management, and Lindsay McNaughton, Corporate Social Responsibility Manager for Care Construction. So I'm looking for the first question to come through. So the first question that's come through is, my company currently does not deliver any community benefits. Where should I start? I'm going to direct that one to you, Lindsay. So my company currently doesn't deliver any community benefits. Where should I start?
I think the key thing is to not try and run before you can walk. Do it in bite-sized chunks. Try and identify what you think you're able to do. So maybe something small, like maybe just supporting a local food bank or a local project, or perhaps somebody in your organisation has family that go to school or university. Go in and do a talk. So I would always start off small. The next step I would do is speak to your client. Who is it you're doing the works for? 9 times out of 10, most clients now have a CSR, social value lead, and speak with them. Find out what the needs are in the area if you don't know them. And there's loads of services via them that will be able to provide you support and steer you in the right direction and help you, more importantly. I think that's key to it, is seeking out that help to make sure you're doing something which has an impact and has meaningful, to kind of quote what you were saying in your presentation, Amanda. I think that's key, not just doing something for the sake of it, making sure that you've got the capacity to do it, you've got the ability to do it, and actually it's going to be meaningful for those that are part of it.
So Shona, can you give any examples of community benefits you've seen the small businesses give?
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the things that I would have said on the back of just what Lindsay said there was, if you're a small contractor, work with your Tier 1. If you're supporting a Tier 1 contractor, work with them and find out what they're doing. Often there's a chance to piggyback on the back of that, so that might be volunteering days. But we work with quite a few SMEs, and we find that actually if we're doing, and we recently, I'll give an absolute example, we recently were working on a community garden, and it was great because some of our smaller SMEs got involved in the community garden, and actually it was great because then they could see what we were doing. Sometimes within that it's a provision of just supplying some plants. Sometimes it's in the provision of just volunteering days and people to come along. Another time it's tools, so depending on, so I think, kind of cutting to what Lindsay was saying, work with your big suppliers and start small. If you don't think you can do something on your own, just join in with someone else.
another question's come through, and this is probably really important. So I think it'll be each one of you will be able to answer this. Is how do they get on your supply chain database? So if we start with you, Patricia, how can local SMEs get on BAM's supply chain?
Okay, good afternoon everyone. So to join BAM supply chain, if you go to the BAM construction website, and you can complete a form on the website. So you can do that, and I can certainly talk you through how you can do that. It's who we are, supply chain, and fill in the form. Very easy, 3 steps. If you are not used to technology, you can always reach out to me direct, and I shall aid you to join our supply chain. So thank you, Amanda.
Thanks. Shona, how does a small SME get on to Robertson's facilities management?
Yeah, I mean, it'll be no surprise that it's very similar to BAM in the respect that, we have a portal on our website. Quite often, if you are an SME and you've maybe been approached about a particular job and you're not on our website, on our supply chain, sorry, if you've got a sponsor, so if you know someone within Robertson that can kind of help you progress that through, there's an opportunity to say that they are your sponsor. I would say it's very distinctive whether you're delivering services or products, so be careful just to fill in the right elements, because they've got different health and safety that come kind of flowing down from them. So just take your time, go to the portal and take your time and just work your way through, and that comes again similar to BAM right through to our supply chain.
And Lindsay, for Care Construction?
We are, again, very similar. We have an onboarding process. We don't have a direct link via our website, so it would be getting in touch with us, and we'll put you in touch with our procurement and our commercial team. It's a simple onboarding process form you just complete, just as Patricia and Shona have said. We just don't have it via the email, but get in touch and we can talk you through what the requirements are and give you that bit of support if needed.
Now, again, another question, and I suppose we'll need to ask each of you how your organisation deals with this, but it's saying the question, do you need to give examples of community benefits that you're delivering when you're registering with a big contract? Is that part of your supply chain questions? Do you ask them? So again, we'll start again with Patricia.
So no, it's not asked at that time. We would aid you, just as we touched on earlier, Lindsay, I think touched on earlier, reach out to people within businesses who can help you understand exactly what community benefits are, and how small they could be up to large scale contribution. However, we have 92% of our supply chain as SMEs, and we do have workshops to encourage people to understand and implement the community benefits within ours. So not at the outset, we would not ask you to provide examples. However, as you work with us and grow your business with us, and we would aid you on the journey of community benefits. Thank you.
Shona, how does RFM then?
We don't, I mean, similar again, we don't ask at the onset of community benefits, but I think, to all SMEs that are here today and looking to join the sort of tier 1 SM supply chains, it is well worth considering that as, I think in Amanda's presentation said that, more and more that's going to be asked for, and more we're looking for support from the SMEs to help with that. We're not looking for them to take the burden of it, but we can on the help for them to kind of help us with it, but not at the start. So don't let it put you off thinking that you've got to have delivered a finite amount of community benefits before you can join our supply chain. It's about coming on the supply chain and then us working together.
And Lindsay, how at Care is that approach?
Yeah, similar. At the outset, no, it's not part of that kind of onboarding process. However, once you do become part of our supply chain, we will get you to sign up to our social value charter. So just pledging your commitment that you'll work with us to deliver social value and community benefits. That's a kind of hierarchy level, and then a project level, you'll sign up to put your offering forward and how you can help us on a project level. So again, not at the very outset in terms of the onboarding, but it will form part of your relationship with us.
So Lindsay, this question is probably more suitable for you to answer. How does a SME evidence that they've delivered a community benefit to you?
It can depend on a project by project. For example, if we are working with Hub, Hub use the kind of social value portal. So we would look, if you were coming through a tier 1 like Kia and you've delivered, then we would outline what that evidence is that's required for us to then load onto a portal. If it was not a formal portal or database system, then it would be working with myself, and we would look back to what have we signed up as a tier 1, and what do we expect as evidence. Generally speaking, it's just to close in the title. It's something that documents that you can prove you've done what you've said you've done. So if it was you've taken on an apprentice, for example, then we would look for that registration paperwork or just that confirmation that you're putting them through college. If you've done a community day, then it might just be some pictures of that and maybe a bit of a testimonial from the beneficiary. So it tends not to be anything too onerous. It's just something that actually backs up what you're telling us.
So Shona, do you have anything you'd like to add to that?
No, I think that, I mean, evidence is just like Lindsay said there. I mean, it is about providing evidence, and you know, we've said it doesn't have to be, you know, magnificent big events that you're holding. So some pictures, some evidence, some testimonials from your customer. Actually, you know, if you've worked with if you've supported a gala day at school or something like that, then even a little testimonial from a customer is great. I mean, all of that adds up. But I think pictures. You know, if you've got an apprentice, then obviously you've got an apprentice that you can evidence quite easily. But it's not probably as hard as people think to evidence it. So you know, don't want anybody to be put off thinking, oh my goodness, how do we evidence that we've done this community benefit? Quite often the recipient will be quite happy to shout about it on your behalf.
And Patricia, do you have anything you'd like to add?
No, just very similar. I think working with our social impact manager within our business can help highlight exactly things that you are doing well and bring to the fore things that you maybe have never thought of before that you are doing. So I think just reaching out and working with us as a team, we can help you on your journey. So yeah.
I think we've got time for just one quick question. And Lindsay, you're probably again the one that's they're looking an organisation's put a question. I'm looking at, or thinking about hiring an apprentice, but I don't know how to do it. Can you just maybe give them a few websites or tips that they can do?
Yep, absolutely. The obvious one would be your CITB if it's a kind of trade type apprenticeship, or your governing body. They'll be able to help you and direct you. Skills Development Scotland is another key partner that can help you, and your local developing young workforce teams as well. They've got engagement with schools, so they can really reach out and promote, and they'll signpost you as well. They've got a lot of knowledge, and there's a lot of funding out there as well through those kind of organisations that can help you. And again, alluding to kind of what Shona said, it's not maybe as hard as what it seems. Kind of, it's the unknown which makes it feel that much more daunting, but there is a lot of support out there for you.
Thanks, Lindsay, for that. Well, thanks for attending today's session. I'd like to thank Patricia, Shona and Lindsay for attending today and answering your questions. Remember to look out in the Perth and Kinross Meet the Buyer event, for the Perth and Kinross Meet the Buyer event on SCP's website, Perth and Kinross website, Council's website and Hubby Central Scotland website. Enjoy the rest of your day and thank you for attending.